extremist. Lawmakers in France pass a new law designed to protect the sounds and smells of nature in the French countryside. And the story behind the Wall Street showdown over GameStop.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Department of Homeland Security issues a new warning about anti-government extremists. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a new terror bulletin warning about the persistent threat of more violence in the wake of the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol. While the alert does not have intelligence about a specific plot, it says the deadly assault on the Capitol left those groups emboldened and capable of new violence. More than 30 members of the House say they are targets and are asking House leadership if they may use their congressional allowances to boost personal security in their home districts. The letter was signed by 31 House Democrats and 1 House Republican, Michigan Representative Fred Upton. Well, if you're sick of the cold temps, then get ready for some warm relief. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
We're starting to get there slowly but surely, and the first key we needed was a little high pressure system to help us break up the clouds, and that's what we've got on the Skywatch storm tracker, especially when we drop down to the southwestern part of our highlighted counties in southwest Missouri. As a matter of fact, it's starting to look beautiful over the campus from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin right now. Now, it's still a little cool, 35 degrees, but remember, we don't really hit that peak heating time till about 2:30 to 4 p.m. So we've got a ways to go. And so the fact that we're still sitting anywhere from right at 32 to 35 means, yeah, we're going to see 40s on the board by the time it's over. And I tell you, here's the nice thing about it. With a little shift in the wind, even when that cloud cover moves out overnight, we're able to stay just about right about freezing here. So we don't have to worry about waking up with wind chills that were down into the teens like they were this morning. And then as we get into Friday, hello warming trend. Let me back that up a little bit. 50s. How about that? And that means a delightful beginning to the weekend. Now, here's the drawback of it all. Guess what happens on Saturday? Yeah, while it's going to be abnormally warm to end January, I mean, we're talking a good 10 degrees above normal, we are going to have some substantial rainfall here by the time the weekend's over. Coming up in a bit, Tanya, we'll take a look at the Gulf moisture, how it moves into Texas, then through Oklahoma, heads our way. But at the same point in time, after coming off of what we had earlier this week, it's just some January showers.
That's right. We can handle the rain. I love the temperatures.
No, and no threat of it flipping over to any wintry mix. That's the key part.
There we go. All right, thanks, Michael. Missouri's governor plans to divert thousands of unused doses of the coronavirus vaccine from CVS and Walgreens pharmacies to other state-enrolled vaccinators. Spokesperson for Governor Parson says his administration has already requested the return of 25,000 doses from both companies, which would then be rerouted to county health departments, medical hospitals, and clinics, local pharmacies, and other state-approved vaccinators. CVS and Walgreens were tasked with providing vaccinations at long-term care facilities, and the new plan will not affect shots for workers and residents at those facilities. Across the world, a team of experts from the World Health Organization is in Wuhan, China, sent there to investigate the origins of the coronavirus. They were released from a 2-week quarantine this morning. One focus will be Wuhan's seafood market, thought to be ground zero. The WHO is expected to visit, but it's been shut down and cleaned out since the pandemic started. Lawmakers in France had to step in when a dispute over croaks, quacks, and other countryside sounds pitted farmers against city folk who were looking for some peace and quiet. CBS's Ian Lee joins us with the story.
Quacking ducks are part of the tapestry of a barnyard. Throw in a mooing cow, and maybe the wafting fragrance of their manure, and you're in the country. Or as one French senator described it, the countryside is music, the rustling of branches and leaves that form a picture when we close our eyes. But some city folk found the sights, smells, and sounds offensive. Even the chime of church bells. But the main perpetrator of their urban sensibilities, Maurice the Rooster. He became a national celebrity after annoyed neighbors complained he was the nuisance and sued to silence him.
Proposition de loi est adoptée.
Parliament has now passed a new law that protects all sounds and smells of the countryside. This French lawmaker says the new law targets city slickers who view the countryside in a Technicolor screen like an odorless, silent photograph. It's hard to imagine what people expected when living next to a farm, but for now, the ducks can quack and the roosters crow in triumph. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Well, many court cases led up to this, including complaints about a frog that wouldn't stop croaking, ducks that quacked nonstop, and the smell of cow manure. Where I grew up, we called that the smell of money. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, playing games with shares of GameStop. A group of young investors decide to mud the waters for the big boys on Wall Street. And later, we're making bacon cornbread in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. A struggling retail chain is at the center of what some people call a David and Goliath struggle between big and small investors. GameStop used to be hugely popular with video gamers, but it's been hit hard by changes in business. But in less than a year, the company's stock has jumped from less than $3 a share to almost $350. Vladimir Dudier explains why.
To Main Street, it's the world's largest video game retailer. But on Wall Street, GameStop is the latest battleground between the financial elite and small investors. Shares of the company have soared nearly 800% over the past week, driven by anonymous posts on the Reddit forum Wall Street Bets. Stephanie Mehta is editor-in-chief at Fast Company.
They're kind of sticking it to the big institutional investors, the hedge funds, by basically forcing the big guys to lose money because they had been shorting or betting against GameStop.
Here's what happened. All last year, GameStop was struggling, its stock selling at less than $20 a share. Big Wall Street investors saw an opportunity. They started shorting the stock, betting the price would drop. If it did, they would make money. But if it rose, they'd take a loss. That action angered small investors who used the Reddit forum to encourage others to buy, driving up the stock price dramatically and creating massive losses for those big-time Wall Street investors. On Wednesday, GameStop stock closed at almost $350 a share.
It is a company that sells products that are widely available online from other sources. It is competing against companies like Amazon. You can see why companies bet against it.
Some small investors said they made tens of thousands of dollars. One said it would help pay for medical treatment. But one major hedge fund, Citron Capital, says it took a 100% loss in covering most of its stake in GameStop.
What do you make of what's going on with GameStop?
I'm fascinated by it.
Jamie Rogozinski created the Wall Street Bets Reddit forum back in 2012. He says small investors like being the masters of their own Wall Street destiny.
There is something to be said about the fact that pretty much anybody can do it too, and watching them do it collectively is certainly a show.
But where there is reward, there is also risk.
At the end of the day, the best way to invest in the stock market is to either work with a financial advisor, work with a retirement portfolio manager. And if you do see a stock that you're interested in investing in, do the research and buy essentially on the fundamentals.
And it's not just GameStop. Reddit investors appear to already be moving on to their next targets. Movie theater chain AMC saw its stock surge more than 300% Wednesday after the hashtag SaveAMC began trending on Twitter. Vladimir Dudier, CBS News, New York.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
It's all the time in the summer.
Really? Mm-hmm. I like it with soup or dipping it in chili. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. I wonder how you would like it. When would you serve this?
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Setting up to what's going to be a gorgeous end of January afternoon. We're starting to see a high pressure system work in from the south right there, breaking up the clouds in southwest Missouri. So eventually even these overcast skies that we have here at the noon hour, especially up to the northern portion, are going to see some sunshine. What a gorgeous shot that we have of the Freeman Health System sky camera. Reason I wanted to run this full screen was because remember all that snow we even had during the morning show? Thing of the distant past as of right now, even though our temperatures are relatively cool. But the reason we're going to be able to warm up here in the next several days is because the complete shift of the winds. We saw that thing spin clockwise today, now moving in from the south, and it's not too blustery. We're only talking about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, we'll get up to about 15 miles per hour, but no wind advisories or anything like that. And that's why we do see temperatures that have already made it into the mid-30s down here, and gradually we're going to see about 40 degrees, maybe some 42s, 43s, but you know what that does? Really puts us right on par for where we'd imagine ourselves at the end of January. Just a skosh below that. But I tell you what, by the time we get to the 7-day forecast, we're going to consider ourselves fortunate with the temperatures that we will have. Wanted to talk about coming off of the snow and the rain that we've had past couple of days here for the month. We should be at about, historically speaking, our average wise, would be about 1 3/4. So we've almost doubled that here. It's been a little wet January. And the interesting part about it was, remember how historically wet we were for the first 5 months last year? We've actually had more rain and precipitation this year than what we had in the beginning of 2020. Big ridge of the jet stream right here is going to bring us those warmer temperatures. Our winter storm has already passed off to the Atlantic. Right here in that trough, they actually have some hurricane force winds coming off of the Atlantic coast. And on the west coast, this is just an absolute mess. And the reason being, they got one of those atmospheric rivers. It doesn't look as impressive as what we see during the summer times, but as that precipitation moves in and all that precipitable water, it just formulates over California. And the big problem for them are massive mudslides because of the burn scars that they had from their summer wildfires. So as we work through our 4 states, I'm going to go gradually clearing. I think everybody's going to see some sunshine before it's all said and done. Positive aspect overnight, we hang close to those freezing temps. And what that means is we don't have to worry about the kids walking out tomorrow with wind chills in the teens. Probably just go high 20s because we won't have a lot of wind to fight. But we do have developments here as we head towards Saturday. Thursday is going to be great. We're going to make it up into the 50s, have plenty of sunshine with very clear skies. But now I'm going to get out of the way because if you look down here to the south, yeah, we got some Gulf moisture that's going to move in early Saturday morning. We're going to see some heavy rain out of this. Not a whole lot of lightning and thunder, but as this thing comes down, we see some pockets there. That's pretty impressive. Don't think we'll have any flooding concerns, but at the same point in time, what we are coming off of is the rain that we had the other day where we picked up in excess of 1 inch. Then we had our snow. Our ground is already saturated, and as this moves through, we are going to have to think about creeks and streams and the capability of how much water they can handle as we head into next week. Here's the silver lining, way above the freezing point, even overnights, so we don't have to worry about it freezing.
All right. I'm looking forward to it this weekend. We're due.
I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good Saturday shower.
Yeah. Are we looking at the rain all day on Saturday at this point, or?
Yeah, here. You know what? You got time to do this?
Sure.
So let's do this right here. See? So we're starting early, right? Mm-hmm. And then, like it's one of those early morning thunderstorms. There's a little residual on the backside, but it's going to be one of those. It's really like late Friday, early Saturday.
Okay.
When it wants to move in.
So by Saturday evening, we can still enjoy the temperatures, hopefully.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's
going
to be a muddy mess.
Yeah.
That's going to be the problem.
Yeah. For the dogs, track it all in.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero. Tech Sergeant Robert Graham in the U.S. Air Force, the Erie, Kansas native, served our country proudly from 1991 to 2013. He fought with the 455th Air Expeditionary Wing while stationed in Afghanistan. To Tech Sergeant Robert Graham, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Today, Howard shows us a fun twist on a Southern favorite that's good any time of the year. We're baking bacon cornbread in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's really super moist, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to start off this segment by suggesting that today's recipe for bacon cornbread would be ideal for this time of year, since it goes well with a big bowl of chili or a hearty bowl of soup. Then I said to myself, self, this is also perfect in the summer with fried chicken or when it's toasted on the grill next to our burgers. Either way, let me show you how easy it is to make, and then you can decide for yourself when it's best to serve. First of all, you know it's going to be nice and moist since it starts with a good amount of sour cream mixed with milk, an egg, and melted butter. After that's combined, we stir in some yellow cornmeal, flour, sugar, bacon bits, and a few basics. After we give this a mix, we'll pour it into a pan and into the oven it goes. When it passes a toothpick test, it's done. Now it's ready to be slathered with butter, dunked in our chili, or warmed up on the grill. And since it's studded with bacon, you just might make this your new breadbasket staple. To get the recipe for our bacon cornbread, all you have to do is check out our website.
This is one of those recipes you hang on your fridge.
Since you'll be making it all the time. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a year-round kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Want it done?
And your soup's better too, yeah.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
We'll all eventually see some sunshine this afternoon. Still going to be relatively cool. Now, Friday, we're up into the 50s. Try to get that yard work done Friday afternoon because Saturday is going to be rainy. And that way, you can just kick back and enjoy a week anticipating Super Bowl 55 right here, February 7th on KOAM.
That sounds good.
Dow's joining us. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, this is interesting. A new vending machine, but you won't find chips and soft drinks in it. This one sells a COVID-19 test. We look into the unique way the company is getting their product on the market. Plus, that big game brings people together. We're going to talk to an expert about ways to stay safe while celebrating the Super Bowl. And fraudulent unemployment claims lead Kansas to shut down its processing system this weekend. We'll speak with a 4-stater who's been waiting 6 weeks. Hear her story at 5.
All right. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.